Welcome back, guys. In the last video we painted the character. In this video we're going to start moving forward towards the clothing, but one thing that I do want to do really quick is expose a couple more features that I did mention earlier. So let's toggle off our symmetry really quick, and one thing that I want to do is go over here to the display settings. Here we can change the lighting. So right now it's on panorama. You can change it to any of these, and it's going to change the lighting of, your model. And something that's also cool is you can turn on shadows, so you can see this a bit better. And also something I want to turn on is subsurface scatter. So I'm going to turn on anti-aliasing as well as subsurface scattering. We can up this amount to 250, or it really doesn't matter, just bring it all the way up. Reselect it to get rid of it. And something that I want to do, let's go to the texture set settings, middle mouse to scroll down, and where it says channels, hit this plus sign, and we want to go to scattering. And then you're going to see how softer our skin of our character got. We just added subsurface scattering, which is a material that acts similar to how if you have a flashlight and hold your finger on top of it while it's on, you can see the light pass through your finger. And that's just because the light is being absorbed, if that makes any sense. So here's how our character looks. We can rotate the environment again by holding down shift, right mouse clicking and holding, and moving your mouse left and right. With that being done, now we can move forward towards the clothing. Make sure you select your shirt and pants. We can go to layers. Alright guys, let's start working on the shirt and pants. So let's go back to our, we can go to materials or smart materials, it doesn't really matter. I want to grab any of these really. Any of these fabric, we can just drag and drop, and you see how quick the character adopts and looks well with this actually. We can even change the color. I think red is good. What I want to do is maybe switch and leave this only for the pants and not the shirt. So what I can do is right click on this, add a black mask, and I want to go to the left, and instead of using the brush, we're going to be using polyfill. And this allows us to select different objects by the polys. So I can just select the squares, I can drag select. That's a bit rudimentary when we can just click on this button here, which is the UV chunks, and now we can select the pans this way. And we can go back to brush, and you can see this a bit better. And that looks good. Now let's pick a shirt. So there's a bunch of different cool ones. Let's try this black shirt. Let's right click on the layer, add a black mask, go to the polyfill, and we're going to use the UV chunks. I'm going to select our shirt. And remember, it doesn't matter if you drag over the character because it's not the layer that's in use, so it will not be applied to it. And this looks kind of cool. There's no designs on it. We can add a design here in a bit, but right now this is looking really good. We'll come back to the shirt. Let's maybe give this band or belt a material, and this is a pretty cool leather material which we can just drag and drop onto the layer, and now it's going to be applied to the layer. Now you can't paint, so if you go to the paintbrush and you want to add a new layer and start painting on top of the skin or the shirt, you can't because it's not active. But when you drag and drop a material onto a different section, you now activated that layer. So we have our belt there. Let's Control Z to go back. I don't really like this color belt. And the shirt, maybe let's change the shirt as well. Maybe it's too dark. There's a bunch of different fabric ones we can go through. Select fabric felt. Let's see what this is. See how this looks. Looks okay. Let's cycle through the different blend modes. The blue actually looks good for the the pants. Let's see if we can drag and drop that red one back for the shirt. Let's add a black mask and let's try this out one more time. Let's see how this looks. This actually looks pretty good. And there is a fabric for pants if you wanted to know. There's a fabric denim that you can just drag and drop. And let's just create a black mask for this, and let's just single out the pants by themselves. And there you can see the jeans. Let's create a blend mode, and let's see if we can blend this between the other ones we had underneath. This actually looks good, this color. Now I want to get rid of some of the stripes that are in here, and it's probably not in this layer. I'm pretty sure it's in one of the lower ones. So let's toggle off, because this is the shirt. These ones are the pants. Let's toggle off the layers until we get to the root of the problem, which is here. Cool, we found it. Now we can toggle back on the other layers. This looks good. Now let's texture the belt. See how this looks. This looks good. Looks like a nice little rubber band. And I want to apply this to the belt. So let's add a black mask. Go to polyfill, UV chunks, and we're just gonna drag this over the belt. For the glove, we can just use maybe a leather material. Let's go to this band. See how this looks on here. Looks okay. Let's change the color of this. Go to the base, go to base color, maybe an orange. Yeah, this looks good. So let's close out the folder. Let's add a black mask, and we're just gonna drag this over this section. Lastly, for the glove, we can, let's see if we can find a good leather. I'm not liking this leather. Let's Control Z. Let's check maybe this leather. We use this leather. Let's change the whole size. So let's tile this up. And also let's change the base color to something a little bit more, something that stands out. We can even use maybe a red glove. Let's just check this out. Let's right click, add a black mask. Let's look at this as a whole. This guy looks badass. There's only one thing wrong with this. Maybe he looks a little too clean. So let's add a little bit of dirt to him. So what we can do is grab any of these materials. Let's go to materials. And we can grab maybe the plastic rough. Drag and drop it to the character. And we can down the tiling. And we can make this a little lighter. So let's make this like a dark brown. Right click, add a black mask. And let's toggle on symmetry. And we're just gonna paint certain areas. Let's turn up the opacity to 100. We play with the different brushes. Alright guys, here we go. We have a tough fly here. Looks pretty cool. Super badass. Here's a good place to save your work. So to export out these textures, what we can do is go to File, Export Textures, and we're going to be greeted with this UI. Here's the directory where you want to store your textures. Alright, go to a directory, name the folder properly, select it. Where it says output template, here you can choose the template where you want to import this into. So if you're going to bring this into Unreal Engine, you can go to Unreal Engine 4 SSS, which is subsurface scatter, or Unreal Engine 4 Unity, Shade 3D, Roblox, doesn't really matter. I'm going to be bringing ours into Blender, so what I want to do is bring it into the metallic rough. So PBR metallic rough. The size is the size you want to output it at. I'm going to output this out as 4096, which is 4K textures, and export. Sweet. So this is done. Now we're done in Substance Painter and we can exit out.